Guys, I hope you're doing well. So I have a very exciting video to film for you today, and that is going to be a first impressions video of some of the items from the new Jason Wu makeup brand. So this is a brand new drugstore makeup brand that is coming to Target, I think on January 17th. That's a Sunday. But they do have their own website, and I think right now, I think I ordered this as soon as they opened. They had like a soft launch a few days ago. Right now, I think they're still doing a 50% off sale. So if you are interested in any of the items from this collection, I would encourage you to go and check out, because I think by the time it launches in Target, I think it's just going to be full price. So I think Jason Wu, who is a fashion designer, he collaborated with one of the co-founders of NYX Cosmetics, from what I understand. So that's kind of the credentials there. So I did want to say a little bit about the types of products, and it surprised me when I was looking at the website, the variety of different items they had. So kind of your standard eyeshadow palettes, liner. They have a lot of different shades of eye primer, some of these kind of cream, glittery shadows. So a lot there, no mascara yet, and only the liquid eyeliner, no gel eyeliners. For lips, there are a lot of different options. They have these 3-in-1 sticks, they have lip liners, they have lip balms, lip creams, and they have a lip plumper, a lip gloss with lip plumper, I guess, an overnight lip mask, a healing lip oil, a daily lip mask. So lots of different kind of skincare type products. Also a lot of different things for your brows. So they have a 24-hour eyebrow gel, which I think has like a fine brush where you kind of brush it in. And then they also have eyebrow soap, eyebrow mascara, they have an eyebrow and hairline powder, a micro brow pencil. For face, I don't think they have any like colored complexion items yet. They have a face primer oil, they have pimple patches, which I was kind of surprised because like for a primer oil or some lip type products, I can understand that, but a pimple patch just seemed more of a skincare brand type item. They do have a setting powder, a freckle pen, setting spray, different types of primer, the primer oil. So there's a magic matte oil, and then also a hydrating and nourishing primer oil. Face mists, and then they have one highlighter that is very opalescent. And then finally, I think in their tools, they just have one pencil sharpener. So quite, I think, a broad array of products, but maybe not some of the ones that you would expect a new beauty brand to launch with, but they are coming out with a lot of different types of products. Okay, so I'll show you what I picked up, and I'll let you know the retail price, and then of course I paid like half of that. Okay, so I tried to focus on products, or the types of products that I routinely use, rather than some of the more unusual ones. Like I don't know if you can tell with the lights, but I am naturally freckled, so I thought a freckle pen is not something I use, and I thought having real and fake freckles would just ultimately look really weird. So I didn't go for that or some of the other items, but I think I picked out kind of a good array of things here. So I got two of the eyeshadow palettes. This is the Flora 9 Desert Rose palette, and then I also got the Matte Agave, which is a 9-pan completely matte palette. And then I also got the eye primer in the shade Light. I guess I should say here that the palettes are $15 each, and the eye primer was $12 full price. I got this Free to Brow Brow Mascara in the shade Light again, and this was $12 as well. Then I guess I'll talk about, I think everything else is a lip product. So I got the lip pencil in the shade number 1 Adored, and this was $10. And then I also got the Honey Fluff. This is the Fluffy Matte Lip Cream, also in the shade Adored. And then they had, I guess this is kind of one of those multi-use products. So I thought I would use this as a blush. This is in the shade number 4 Apple Pie. This is the Hot Fluff for lips, eyes, and cheeks. So I think I'll use this on my cheeks as kind of a cream blush. And that was $12 as well. And then I got 2 more kind of lip balm products. This was the Kindness for Your Lips Healing Lip Oil, and they said you can also apply this on top as like a lip gloss, basically. I think this only comes in one shade, just clear. And then the last product here is an everyday lip mask. Daily Wear and Leave On Lip Mask Balm. So I thought I would apply that first and let it sink in while I was doing everything else. And yeah, I think this just comes in one shade as well. So this was $12. The Kindness for Your Lips was $14. So I think that covers everything. Let me know if I missed out. So I paid at half off, $57 for everything. I think the website has free shipping at $35, just so you're aware. And it ships super quickly. I don't know if that was just because I was one of the earlier orders, and I don't know if they'll be able to keep up that kind of momentum. But it came, you know, just kind of in a cardboard box with black tissue paper, and then it had this, you probably won't be able to tell really, but it had Jason Wu Beauty on the tape. So, you know, I think for a drugstore brand, it was pretty good packaging. Okay, so I was about to say that one annoying thing about the packaging is that it has a little tape, like safety seal, I guess you would call it, but the bottom isn't sealed. So just be aware of that if you do purchase this in store. I have, I think, just the remnants of some lip balm on, but I will go ahead and go into the Everyday Lip Mask. The entire line has this very, I think you can tell from some of the names too, like it's a very like kind of Arizona summery desert type look to it. It seemed like they have a lot of their lip colors and everything seem to be kind of in that color story. But then they also had some like really kind of pearlescent icy shades that didn't seem to kind of go with the overall vibe of the packaging and everything else. So I thought that was kind of an interesting dichotomy there. So this feels a little cheap. Has a flat doe foot applicator. I think it has a faint kind of citrus fruity scent, which I would prefer over any kind of mint or anything like that. All right, so a little bit of a sheen there, but not like super glossy or anything. I think this would actually be a good product for on the go these days when you want to apply a lip balm, but obviously you don't want to put your finger in anything. I think this would be a good product. So it says these products, I think they're all cruelty-free, paraben-free, sulfate-free, talc-free, phthalate-free, vitamin E enriched. And it says it's a daily lip mask formulated with vitamin E squalane, which I always like squalane as an ingredient, sunflower seed, and jojoba seed oil for smooth, supple lips any time of the day. It does have linalool and limonene at the end of the ingredient list. That's probably where the like citrusy type fragrance comes from. It does have beeswax. It also has fragrance. It does have sodium hyaluronate. Okay, so definitely not mad at that. Okay, I think the next product to apply, and at this point I think I'll zoom you in. Okay, so I think we'll do the eyes next. So the eyeshadow primer I have is called Woo Prime Eye, which I thought was kind of cute. Again, this is in the shade Light. And it says it's a full coverage, ultra creamy eyeshadow base infused with vitamin E and B. Guaranteed to make your shadows more intense and last longer with no cracking. So I have a tiny patch of eczema on my eyelid that I'm trying to heal, so anything weird happening over that skin, I won't count against the product, obviously. Okay. So everything kind of comes in this exterior cardboard packaging, and then it has like a little plastic kind of tray. So, all right, this is the primer, and this is about 1/3 of an ounce is how much product you get. And that is the dispenser. It's kind of an interesting little mechanism there. Okay, so that is what it looks like. And I think I'll just apply this with my fingers. So it actually feels kind of like a concealer. Like I thought it would actually be kind of thicker, but it's pretty, I wouldn't say it's liquidy, but it's not, like I said, it's kind of like, you know, a thicker concealer in consistency. I think I've had eyeshadow bases that are thicker. So I think this is the lightest shade. I think they also, did they make a transparent version? They do have a pure white one. Okay, so I actually got the second lightest one because the first one is just pure white. So this is the one that's like, you know, potentially a skin tone. So if you do want like a super white base, you can go that route. Yeah, if you know anything about eczema, the skin kind of almost gets like, I don't know how to describe it. It just looks kind of like wrinkled and flaky. It's really attractive. Okay. So it's not, I think I can still see freckles through it, so I wouldn't say this is opaque. It's definitely helping to conceal any veins or anything that you would probably, you know, absolutely want to conceal, but it's not like a complete, you know, blank canvas. And just to use, I mean, a little bit I think goes a long way. So there is the shade Light, kind of blend it out a little bit. I assume at some point he will release foundation and concealer if the line does well. Okay, I guess we'll go in with the eyeshadow palettes, and I will try to do some swatches for you guys as well. I got 2 different palettes because I just wasn't sure if this one palette that has both mattes and shimmers would kind of give me everything I needed. So they are like really cute little 9-pan palettes. And it says blendable and buildable, fully pigmented, vegan formula eyeshadows in beautifully curated earthy tones. Eyeshadows can be worn anytime from day to night. So the first ingredient of this is talc. All right, so these aren't numbered, and it's just a like typical snap closure, which I'm fine with at this price point. I'm going to take my Inglot 28 PO, which is a kind of larger paddle brush. There's no mirror in the palette, which is going to make this a little bit more complicated to demo. But I'm gonna go in with this like really light matte shade, and they seem pretty smooth, not generating a lot of kick up or anything. Okay, so that didn't really make a difference in the color of my lid. It looks like the primer might have creased just a tiny bit while I was talking. know if you can see that. Okay, so the next one is the MAC 286. That's what I usually use for a kind of transition shade. I'm going to start off with the lighter brown in the corner here. Okay, so taking that light brown shade and okay, getting some color. It's very soft. They seem very blendable though. All right, I feel like this is a choose your own adventure where I have two paths. Like this is the light brown I just used, and this whole column seems to be warmer. And then you have like the middle row that are all very shimmery, and then you have these that are more cool. I'm gonna go in with this one next, like a cooler brown. Okay, and then going in with my Refer number 23 brush, I'm going to go back into that same brown I was just using and go underneath. Okay, so I think I need a darker brown. So that was the Desert Rose palette, and I think there's definitely a darker shade in here. So I think I'm gonna go into this matte agave palette. You can see the exterior packaging is a slightly different color, so if you were to get more than one of these and wanted to store them together, it would be fairly easy if you knew what the color was to grab it. All right, going back in with the MAC brush and going into the deepest shade here. Brush shed just a tad there. So this is a duo fiber tapered brush. So I always go in it with a very light hand, just kind of dabbing the brush in, because I want to be able to control the depth of color and kind of build it up over time. So hopefully when I swatch it, you'll be able to get a sense of like the full opacity. Okay, so going back into the Desert Rose palette and my GSN 9 from Chikuhodo, I think I'm gonna start off with the lightest one in the center, just to see how that does. And this is a natural hair brush, so we'll see how well it does on like a more metallic shade. And starting off, it's a dry brush too, by the way. So that is the effect you get with a dry brush. Okay, next I'm going to go in with the darker, like bronzy type shade, and do that in the like outer third, I guess. So if you like something that's more of a topper, I think a dry brush does that for you. I am going to spray some of the Tarte Maracuja Miracle Mist on my brush and go into that center lighter shade again. Okay, so you can kind of see it definitely like foils it more. So I would say if you definitely want more color payoff, go with a wet brush or your finger. And then going back into the darker shade. Just going back in with the MAC brush to try and kind of diffuse some of the sparkle. Okay, I want to try my finger. I will do some finger swatches, but I just wanted to kind of see. Okay, so I wouldn't say these are the most amazing metallics I've ever used, but for the price point, especially when they're half off, I don't think I can really complain. I guess I can do brows next. All right, so what do I have here? This is the Free de Brow, and my brow gel of choice is the Benefit Gimme Brow. I think this is one where they had a transparent or clear version. Yeah, it's interesting that he doesn't have any mascara or like foundation type products, because I feel like that's kind of like what most like drugstore makeup consumers go for, is kind of just, you know, their basic makeup products, maybe a lip product and some blush, or even like a gel eyeliner. Okay, so this is what the package looks like. And I'm nervous this is gonna be too warm, but we'll see. So I think it has, I'll try and zoom in for you. Do you see that? It looks like it's kind of longer on one side. It's interesting. Okay. Okay, it's not quite as bad. You can see where I got some on the skin maybe. All right, so I'll just let that kind of dry. Go in to the other side. I feel like it's a little harder to control where this goes. I mean, maybe that's just me not being used to the product. I think here I was going to, it's a very liquidy formula. Okay, so there it is on my hand. And this is the shade Light. Seems a bit dark. And I thought I would just kind of put some of the, it's a little harder to get onto my hand, but the Benefit Gimme Brow in the shade 1, you can see is much cooler. Do it in front of my face. And I think I also, this also has like a more like narrow conical type brush, and I think this also has fibers, yeah. So this has kind of fibers in it to help build up the look of your brows. The Benefit Boy Brow in the shade Blonde. So it's kind of, I guess, the middle ground, and I think the Benefit product dries down more than the Glossier Boy Brow. So we have the Jason Wu, the Glossier, and the Benefit. I think those are all, I think they're all the lightest shade. I'm not sure, aside from just being clear. Interesting though, that is much harder to remove. I don't know if it's just because it's been on my hand longer. It's almost not coming off. I just have a makeup eraser here. But yeah, that is definitely not, can you see it? It's still interesting. Okay. I think I need a little bit of concealer around my brows to kind of clean up. Okay, so that's the brows, and now I think I'm gonna do my eyeliner and mascara off camera because there's nothing from the Jason Wu collection for those categories that I have, and then we'll do the cheek and lips. Okay, the liner and lashes are done. I used the, where'd I put it? Wander Cosmetics liner in the shade Bronzed Brown, the Clinique Bottom Lash Mascara, and then the Tarte Lights Camera Splashes on my upper lashes. And I did notice some fallout from that glittery shade. I don't know if that's gonna show up on camera or not, but just be aware and, you know, maybe do your eyes first, or just, you know, be careful how much you apply. Okay, so I think let's do the cheeks next. All right, very curious about this Hot Fluff product. So I'm not going to be using it on my eyes or my lips, because we have other products. But I am curious. So the side of the box says a new age matte weightless lippy that can be worn as eyeshadow, blush, and lip color. This is a vegan formula. So it says apply onto lips, eyes, or cheeks, blend out with your fingertips or favorite applicator. So I guess it's nice that they tell you if it is vegan or not. So the entire line I don't think is vegan because there was beeswax in that one product. But if you are vegan and you're concerned about that, I think you can check kind of product by product. So it looks like your kind of standard lipstick. So, I think, oh, and it does have Jason Wu embossed. Which is a nice touch. I think I'll try to get some on my fingertips here. This was a hard shade or hard product to select a shade for because everything seemed kind of, you know, just brownie nude, which is totally fine. It's just, you have to be a little bit careful about what suits your skin tone, I guess. So I'm just using my 2 fingers to tap that out. I don't think I'm quite even. It does feel pretty creamy to the touch. It doesn't feel like overly dry. And it doesn't look super matte on the cheeks either, which is nice. It almost looks like too much. Oh, and I did apply foundation earlier, but I haven't applied any powder to my cheeks. Okay, I'm gonna take the beauty blender that I used to apply my foundation, just to kind of go over that. It's always hard to select the right level of blush for a YouTube video because you want it to show up on camera and you can look a little washed out if you're under applying, but I don't want to look like a clown either. Okay, I think that's a good level. All right, so next up is the lip liner. And I got this in the same shade as the Honey Fluff, so I think there's a lip liner shade for each of the Honey Fluffs. His naming is pretty cute, I have to say, across everything. So this seems like it feels plasticky, but I think you have to sharpen this. I don't think it's a twist up. Okay, so that lip mask is kind of worn off for the most part. All right, feels nice and creamy. So I think on me anyway, this is kind of a Your Lips But Better shade. It's a little bit more like leaning in the terracotta type peachy direction. But it looks pretty natural. Okay, so that is the liner. Let's check out the Honey Fluff. Did I read what it says about the liner? Yeah, it just says a soft and creamy lip liner pencil infused with jojoba seed oil. And this is a matte lip cream. And this one says a super soft whipped matte lip cream that feels like air, beautifully pigmented and infused with jojoba seed oil and grapeseed oil for extra nourishment. Seems like this kind of product is kind of the new favorite. I think Rare Beauty has a lot of lip products like this. So same kind of flat doe foot as the lip mask. All right. I think brands in general over the last few years, like even if it says it's a matte, it's usually like a very kind of natural, comfortable matte. And this feels very kind of like oily almost, like when I rub my lips together. And I don't think it's accentuating any like dryness or anything like that. And honestly, I don't feel like this needs any kind of lip oil on top because it feels pretty comfortable. Like I would really say this is more of a satin than a matte. I'm not sure it really kind of flatters the eye look the most, but there you go. Okay, just to make sure I've kind of swatched everything for you, I'll do the eyeshadow palettes separately on my arm. The lip pencil here. That is the lip pencil. And then I will do the lip honey fluff in the same color, Adored. So that is the honey fluff. You can see the remnants of the brow product still on there. And the hot fluff is the multi-use product that kind of looks like a traditional lipstick. Also very kind of smooth. This is in the shade Apple Pie. I don't think they have the same color range in this product as they do in the other one. The Everyday Lip Mask, I think, will just look kind of clear. So no real color to that. And the Kindness for Your Lips Healing Lip Oil, which is the only product I haven't actually applied. Same kind of doe foot, like so. I don't know if you'll be able to tell like the difference in consistency between the top one, the top clear patch and the bottom clear patch. The top one is the lip oil and the bottom one is the lip mask. So I guess I'll just, I don't want to ruin the applicator. I'll just kind of put a little bit on my ring finger here and oh, it is getting on my teeth. You see that? The color. I think that was from the original application, not the lip oil. So if you want a shinier look, you can definitely dab a little bit on top. But I don't think it's a case where you need to for like comfort. So that's the finished face look before I swatch the shadows on my arm. I don't have any bronzer on. I just have a little bit of the Fenty contour stick in amber. And then I didn't have any other blush or anything before I applied that product. Okay, so here are the shades in the all matte, what's this called? Matte Agave palette from top to bottom, left to right. So this is the first row, 1, 2, 3. This is the second row, 4, 5, 6. And then the last row here is 7, 8, 9. So in general, I think these matte shades are very smooth and creamy, very blendable, so I think you could do a lot worse for the price. Okay, so hopefully you guys can see these okay. So I swatched these a little bit differently. I did them by column, essentially, top to bottom. So this first row of 3, these are the cooler shades on the left side of the palette. There are the 3 kind of sparkly shades here. And then finally we have the 3 kind of warmer matte shades. So that is the Desert Rose palette. Okay, so let's talk about these products. So in general, I think the prices are reasonable for a higher end drugstore line, especially if you get them at that 50% off point. I like that the exterior packaging often mimics the color of the shade that you're using. So if you have multiples, you know what you're grabbing for. In some cases, obviously it doesn't matter as much, but I do like that. Let's talk about the specific products. So the first product here, I'm not a huge fan of. The, what is it called? Frida Brow. I think I prefer the Benefit Gimme Brow, both like from a color perspective and just like the ease of use. I think it looks fine in my brows, but I think it's a hair on the warm side and also a hair on the dark side for being like the lightest shade. Hold on, I have stuff on my teeth. So that's probably not a product I will use again or recommend. I thought the lip liner was nice and creamy. It does seem to be like a plastic that you sharpen, which I'm not a huge fan of that type of component, but if you like the color, I think the consistency is good. The Hot Fluff Apple Pie, I do actually like this as a cream blush. I like that the packaging kind of reflects the color of the product. I might give this a shot on my lips. I don't think I will put it on my eyes, just because I have to be careful with this color or this type of color. Otherwise, I feel like it makes me look ill. That I would definitely recommend looking into. That's $12, which I think is totally reasonable. The lip cream was also nice. Again, not like a traditional matte, so it's a little bit more comfortable. As you saw, you do have to be careful with it getting on your teeth. So you can do the old like finger trick and get rid of the inside that way, but this doesn't have a soft touch feel to it, but it does still have the, I don't mind if it has soft touch or not, I'm just letting you know. But it does have a color that reflects the product inside, so that's nice. Kindness for your lips, I think this is fine. I just don't know that it is leaps and bounds above any kind of comparable product. But if, you know, it sounds good to you, go for it. I didn't see if it smells, actually. I think it has the same kind of light scent as the lip mask. The Honey Fluff, which just kind of makes me laugh every time I say it, I don't think has a smell. I don't think this has a smell either. So the kind of lip care products seem to have a fragrance, but not the like lip color products that I can detect anyway. The eye primer seemed to be fine. I think I actually preferred it being a little bit more liquidy, a little bit more forgiving, not super dry or anything. So far my eyeshadow doesn't seem to be creasing or anything, so that's definitely a plus. Usually I do use an eye primer. Lately I've been using the Fenty eye primer, but I do like, it's in a squeezy tube, which, you know, that could come down to preference. I feel like you end up wasting a little bit more product, but it could be a little bit more hygienic, so it's just kind of a, you know, give and take. So I think I probably will, you know, keep playing around with this a little bit more. And then the two palettes. So I would say there's one more palette that I didn't purchase, and that is the Prickly Pear palette. There's a few more pinks in there, maybe a few more darker metallics. That one actually I think only has one matte. So I don't know that that one is the most versatile palette. I think if you just want to try out the matte formula, I think this is a good one to try out. I think it's very blendable. I think you could probably build up the intensity, especially with that darker shade if you were, if you had a darker complexion. So if I were to recommend any of them, I would recommend this one. If you like the more kind of sparkly eye topper look, I would say you could try this one out too. Like the mattes in this one are still good, and you also, you know, you get a variety of light and dark shades, and the mattes seem kind of comparable to the ones in this palette. And again, as you can see, the shade of the packaging is different. So really the only, I guess, dud, if you can call it that, is the eyebrow product. And it's interesting that that's one area where he had so many different types of products in the brow area. So maybe he, or whatever, consumer research firm he hired, informed him of how much the product that people use in their brows is driven by preference, and everyone is kind of different in that way. I think that's everything, guys. Let me know if you have any questions. I definitely don't regret trying this line, and I would definitely be open to trying more colors in some of these formulas. There are some products that I really have no interest in, like a brow wax. It's just not really my cup of tea. But I think this is a solid launch for Jason Wu. So again, I hope you guys found this helpful. Please do subscribe if you haven't already, and I will talk to you soon.